What's up, guys? Excuse me. Should have cleared my throat before I started that. Got a walk. I don't know what to call this. Whatever you want to call it, vlog. I want to talk today about something that I have been fucking up on, I guess, or just I've missed, and it's like it's a humbling thing, and it has a lot to do with kind of what the things that I've expressed on this channel. So that's why I want to talk about it on here. So I'm not gonna, there's no way that I'm saying that this is my idea. This is something I've picked up off other people, that I'm like, it's just, when you're in something and then you hear a couple people say something and then you think about it for a little bit and you're just like, oh my god, I'm a fucking idiot. Why didn't I see it that way, or whatever, so anyways, I'll just say what happened. I watch a lot of YouTube, and it's not all political stuff that I watch, but one thing I've kind of heard, through the fun channels, or I watch a lot of motorcycle vlogs and that kind of thing. I don't know why, I just, for some reason, I've never even ridden a motorcycle. I just like watching that for some reason. I want a motorcycle so bad, so I'm sure that has something to do with it. But anyways, a few of them that I was talking to, I saw there was kind of, I don't want to be dramatic about it because it was really the stupidest thing. It should never have happened. But a motor vlogger who is pretty much self-professed liberal, or you know what I mean, he talks in his vlogs and it's like, okay, well, this guy's obviously not conservative, so whatever. And then there's a few other ones that I watch who are obviously conservative, and there's I can watch it and it's whatever. But the one thing that one thing that came up was they kind of were talking shit to each other, and they started kind of just this stupid thing where one guy said, oh, this guy's dumb, and then that guy was like, oh, this guy's even dumber, and then it just went back and forth, and it was super dumb. But they went on. Anyways, out of that, one of them was one side was super conservative, one side was liberal. That never came up, though. It was just something that I kind of had known from knowing about their channel. So I'm like, oh, that's got to be the underlying thing here. You know what I mean? It's got to be whoever started it. That's got to have to play a picture, because they don't even. I don't know. Anyways, but so yeah, this is a really fucking long story for a short point. But I feel like I have to over-explain the context, because context means so much. If I were to just tell you the point, it would mean probably 5% of what it would if I gave you the context. So bear with me here. But so from that, afterwards, people are like, oh, giving their take on it and just saying how they feel about it and whatever. But one of the things that came up, and it was so obvious that I just oh yeah, I didn't think about it, is that we need to stop fighting each other, like Democrats and Republicans, and the two-party system. That's the one thing that Canada doesn't have. Canada has 9 or a bunch of parties, and there's 2 kind of main ones, but they do have 9 things, and we don't have that division. You know what I mean? There is kind of a division of ideas, and it's oh, I think, or I mean, it's pretty much the right and the left. I think that things should be socialized, and I think that everything should be just no regulation, and you know what I mean. It's just it's pretty much the same thing. So by the way, I don't understand people who fight for less regulation. That is something that I just will never understand. But unless you're a company who is directly benefiting from that. Anyways, so, and then I heard a few other people saying it, and it's like, it just dawned on me. I'm like, oh my fucking God, I'm guilty of doing that. I'm guilty of falling into the us versus them thing. And I didn't see it, and it's kind of embarrassing, because I feel like, I don't know, whatever. I don't see everything, so that's something I missed, and that's a pretty big thing, and I just bought right into it. And that's one thing that I'm not going to be doing from now on, is bashing conservatives, or saying, I'm not even going to be saying conservatives or liberals anymore, because that is wrong. Because the problem is not that. The problem isn't if you're going to choose a side and whoever side can come up with a good argument or not. That makes no difference. The problem is the corruption. The problem is the politicians doing this corruption and doing this terrible stuff where people, it increases the, taking away Medicare and all that shit. Like it's all bad. Everybody knows it. I don't need to list it, but like that's what people need to band together against. And like I'm just kind of following the trends. You know what I mean? I'm just listening. I just have a good ear. You know what I mean? And so yeah, like that's one thing I that gives me a good amount of hope for, actually, for a country that I don't even live in, is that they are, there's a lot of conservatives who are even fighting within themselves over it, so, and Trump does not have a high approval rating, and he's gonna have to do some fucking good things for the whole country not to despise him very quickly. And I'm not sure if he's aware of that. I don't know if he sees it that way, because he's never really, it seems to me like he's never really had that humility. Like, that's what it takes, is like, it takes a life of being humbled to remember to be humble in certain situations. I've learned that the hard way. Or whatever, everybody learns things differently, but I'd say that, like, if I were to, like, if somebody asked me, or whatever, like, I just put humility on such a high pedestal as far as a personality trait, or as far as, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but it's just such a necessary thing, and Trump just does not have humility, and that's the thing that makes people good, is humility. Without humility, you're just kind of running in the dark, trying to pick up these plates that are falling or something, whatever fucking analogy that is, I don't know, but it's like there's no grounding and there's no relating back to, like, he's not a grounded person. I don't think anybody can argue that Donald Trump is like a grounded in reality or grounded in any way kind of person. He's all over the place, and that is a sign of a lack of humility, in my opinion. His brain, in my opinion, I think, like, I was thinking about this the other day. It's kind of like going on a date, and I was thinking about, like, going on a date and think about how many things that you think about yourself that the other person might notice. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I have this, hopefully they don't notice that, or maybe they notice this, like, whether it's physical or your personality or whatever. Everybody puts on a bit of a better face on a first date, right? And and they're also thinking about their kind of insecurities before going into that date. Now, I've gone on a few dates recently, and I felt very good, and they've gone well, and because of other things I haven't continued, but like it was good and it was okay, and I think before I wasn't like that. I was very insecure, and I would do what I just described. I would just think about all the things about myself that I like, just think about all the negative things that I think they're seeing in me, and just project that, and then you think they're thinking that, and then you act like they're thinking that, and then but they haven't thought of that at all, and so they're like, what the fuck is this guy, why are you thinking that, or why do you say that? It just creates confusion, you know what I mean? And that's why insecurity is not a what's it called? It's not a attractive trait. And so what I see in Trump is, I've never gone on dates with guys, but I see that in him. Like, I see him thinking about what people might be thinking about him, and adjusting what he says based on that. Based on, it's like, oh, okay, so they might think this, so I'll say this. They might think this, so I'll say that. And that's why, to his supporters, he can't win. Or he can't lose, I mean. To his supporters, he can't lose, because he's like, he's on their level. Like, he's in their mind, because he's thinking about the insecure things that they might be thinking about him, and he's acting based on that. So he's not acting based on what he thinks he should be, or who he thinks he should be as president, or any of that. He's acting based on the insecurities that he thinks other people might see in him, and so he's counteracting that. And that's why people who are less insecure can just see right through it. It's like, why are you acting like this? It's so weird. But for the people who are insecure and who don't kind of know how the world works, or how people haven't really learned about people, or haven't really kind of had a lot of life experience, maybe, or maybe different things, I don't know, I'm not generalizing completely, maybe a little bit, it's hard not to, but I really think that there's a difference in people, and I think that's a scientific thing, and it's a really, I know I'm counteracting my original point in this by not vilifying one side or not, and so that's fucking hard not to do. It's laziness on my part. Honestly, that's all it is. It's my brain being lazy and being like, okay, I would rather not be nuanced on this, because smearing all of them, saying they're all stupid, is a lot easier than learning about actually why they voted for Trump, and just thinking like, oh, they're just dumb, and that's just my own laziness, honestly. So I guess I can admit to that, but yeah, and it's just a very interesting thing, and I really hope that the U.S. is able to put together, just get together and quit buying into the us versus them in every scenario. Like, it's like the U.S. is just dying for an us versus them scenario, just so they can jump on one side and fucking go tell everybody about it. That's pretty accurate. And I'm the same. I'm not saying I'm better in any way, and I'm sorry to the people in the U.S. I don't mean to be disrespectful. I think the fact that I pay so much attention to your fucking country means that I have a lot of respect for it, and the biggest thing is that Canada is just super influenced. We are different. Like, we have our differences for sure, but we're all really not that different, honestly. And we have a different structure of government here, which leads to different things, and that's, I think, the main difference. But other than that, and the weather, but that's nothing. Other than that, I'd say it's pretty similar. Yeah, there's a differences, but if you take North America and compare it to Europe, or compare it to Russia, compare it to any other place in the world, nobody would be able to tell really the difference between somebody from Alberta and Montana. You know what I mean? Like, so, anyways, I don't think it's really that different. But patriotism will tell you that your country is way better, so I'll just make that assumption. Sorry. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I liked making this video, actually, so, yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you had a good Christmas, and hope you have a good New Year. So, have a good night.